That story around the Justice Ministry, our team, Zuleke Koldasha, and our team on standby for you to update you on that suspension and placing on special leave of a Deputy Director General and the Director General. Let's just move to the situation in the Western Cape now. You can imagine how worried people are there following what looks like 3 incidents of taxi violence. Several people have been killed. 2 people were killed at a taxi pickup point in Makhasa this morning. That follows other incidents earlier in the week, and we've seen intense violence and competition for routes between Kata and Kodeta in Somerset West and Ulwandle. Rob Quintas is the member of the Mayoral Committee for Urban Mobility in the City of Cape Town. Councillor Quintas, good afternoon to you. We've seen situations like this in the past, and particularly involving these 2 taxi associations. Do you know what might be sparking what seems to be another round of this violence?
Very good afternoon to you, Stephen, and all of the viewers. Stephen, the area that is currently experiencing the greatest sort of pressure points in terms of taxi conflict is these sort of largely the Helderberg Basin, and that is Somerset West and surrounds, including Ulwandle, Strand, Umzamo, and as far afield as Makhasa. The viewers may remember that this area experienced some turbulence several months ago between the 2 organizations. And then the City of Cape Town, along with the Western Cape Government and the industry itself, with Santaco as the umbrella body for the province, the Santaco Western Cape met, and some interim measures were put in place after some lengthy discussions and meetings to curtail the conflict and to see normalcy and operations return to the area in a peaceful manner. And after the last few days, certainly just before around about the weekend, we became aware that there seemed to be allegations around the breaking of certain commitments in the area around ranking destinations and other operational matters where the 2 associations are operating side by side, or disputes over some of those destinations and ranking facilities. So the industry met in earnest hope of resolving this. Unfortunately, as you mentioned earlier, on Monday morning, we had several shootings in the metro. And then this morning, if I recall correctly, I believe 2 taxi operators and a commuter came under fire as well in the Makhasa area. And these disputes are sort of long simmering. However, the leadership of the associations, with a lot of sort of communications between the city government and the organizations, has led to a commitment to reconvene today at 2:00. The leadership met, and as I understand it, with a very clear mandate to try and resolve some of this conflict and ensure that peace and normalcy return to the operations in that area. Of course, we are waiting for the outcomes of that meeting and are very hopeful that we're going to see some progress around the associations finding one another and making proposals and commitments that they will adhere to into the future to prevent further disruption.
And Councillor, how difficult is it to get them all in the same room to actually hold this meeting? These are the leaders of 2 taxi associations we know have a very difficult history.
So I think it's important to remember that overall the associations are service providers of a public transport service, and they're businessmen. And the desire to see the normal operations I believe is equally important to them as it is for the commuters and for us as government. So, tensions are high at times like this. There have been losses of lives, which of course makes it very difficult in terms of trust. But, I must commend the industry that despite these challenges, despite what has brought us to this point, there is always an ongoing appetite to reconvene. I'm glad that they're reconvening today as opposed to allowing the situation to escalate over the next few days. I know that Somerset West public transport interchange has been closed by the South African Police Services today at 2 o'clock. It will remain, I understand it will remain closed by order of the police until tomorrow, 2 o'clock. And, that is very disruptive for the industry in general, that type of strong measure. So I'm hoping that, that they clearly are willing to meet and discuss and overcome some of the simmering tensions that are currently at a pressure point. And we, as I mentioned, we eagerly await the outcome of that meeting. And of course, the Western Cape government and the City of Cape Town will do whatever we can to assist in that further mediation and negotiations around disputes. Dialogue is the only way to resolve these to resolve these issues around routes and challenges of ranks.
So, Councillor, the other issue, of course, is that the police are investigating, and I've lost count of the times we've done stories about taxi violence and said the police are investigating. We hardly ever find out who's responsible. How important is it that the police actually find out who's responsible this time?
So I can't speak to South African Police Services, crime intelligence, and what their operations are. What I will say is that I concur with you that it is very rare that any arrests that are made that lead to meaningful convictions in that space. I think some credit must be given to the taxi industry as a whole. They had an imbizo fairly recently where the industry came out quite transparently to the media and the public around their own concerns into internal issues around extortion and other organized crime type factors, which the industry took the public into confidence about. And I think it was a massive step, and it shows that the industry is willing to discuss some of their own internal issues and shows willing to start correcting that, which is a very promising and positive move by the minibus taxi industry, and one that must be supported wholesale by crime intelligence and any other investigative agencies that can assist them in this process of opening up and getting down, drilling down into where and who is often potentially behind some of the disruptions that we see metering out in the public space.
Councillor, thank you. Rob Quintas is the member of the Mayoral Committee for Urban Mobility in the City of Cape Town.